Okay, so do you have anything specific you want to work on today?
Hi, Leanne. Yes.
Oh,
So I'm going to be asking a few questions about life path
mhm.
and particularly the spiritual path. So I've been doing a lot of work with people one-on-one and doing a lot of coaching and therapy, and I love it and it's great. But there's a part of me that almost feels called to kind of come off the roller coaster, kind of come off the hamster wheel of, business and all this kind of work and being very involved as I am right now, feeling called to kind of go off on my own and be a little bit more independent and a little bit more quiet and a little bit more introverted with my spiritual path. So I'm feeling that pull. And I'm just wondering whether that might be because it's my comfort zone, maybe from a past life, or whether it's because this is sort of where I'm actually being called to go towards. That makes sense.
Absolutely. Perfect. Okay, so I'll take a couple seconds. I'll go in and then I'll just start talking.
Okay,
Let's see what
sounds good.
comes.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Okay, so then when I go in, I see your book that came up, and it's gold and it has lots of filigree on it, and it's very, very regal and like fancy looking. And then I just asked to look up and see all the lives you've had that have had a spiritual path, and like this, more than half of it just lit up, and it was just like
Wow.
went on
Okay.
forever. Like you've had many, many spiritually awakened and paths where you've led a spiritual life. Okay, and then they're showing me a temple, and it looks like golden, and it's not Greek. I'm not too sure where it is, but there's lots of carvings and like 3D carvings on the pillars and on the walls. And I see you wearing like a big cloak, and it's golden colored. And you're a man in that life. I can just see you walking down the halls. And then I can see you walking out of the temple onto the stands, and there's lots of people looking at you. Lots of people watching you. They're just gathering to hear what you have to say. And this feels like this is like a part of a pilgrimage. Like people come once a year to this place, and you give a speech, and it feels like it's like I can't find the right words, but it reminds me of like a farmer's almanac, where like you're telling what's going to happen in the next year, and a lot of it has to do specifically to like the crops and like when to plant and what's going to happen to prepare all these people for the upcoming year. And then they're just showing me you walking off, and you're going back into like a secluded area, like you have your own little spot. It's like you need to recharge after. It's just you use a lot of your energy during these. It feels like I want to say transmissions, because you're doing this live for the people. You're not. Part of it is things that you have gathered, but a lot of it is you connect live and you tell the people what they need.
Okay. Does this society feel more of a religious society, or is it more like a pagan or like earthy kind of
It
society?
feels like these people aren't necessarily spiritually evolved themselves, but they believe in spirituality, and they believe what you're saying is true and from the divine, and they're gathering the knowledge and the guidance to help them with their I want to say ordinary lives, but they're just like, it feels like a farming people.
Okay.
Like farming and shepherds, and they're more simple, but they can have full faith and belief in you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask how that's connected to this life now. And you have a very strong connection to the divine, to the universe. It's a connection, like the way I see the connection, it's not just like a rope. There's like a bunch of, there's lots of light and feels like an insulator around it so that it doesn't lose the information. It doesn't lose, in my head, I'm thinking like a wire. It doesn't feel like it doesn't lose the heat. It just transmits so freely and it doesn't have any interference, I should say.
Okay.
It's a very strong connection.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
Okay, and then let's see. Yeah, and I definitely see like the connection between that life and this life is the strong polarities of being connected and then having the regular life. Like it's a very strong opposites. They're on opposite ends.
Okay.
And trying to find the middle ground. In that life, you didn't have a middle ground. You was there and you were here. You were there and you were here. And that was very draining. It took a big toll on you.
Okay.
Like there was, when you had to go in between, you had to have a section of time where you just recuperated. You see, I was asking, what do you need to learn from that life? But like parts of it is, because the way it's showing to me is that like you have the spiritual life, you have your ordinary life.
Yeah.
And in the middle, I see them swirling together and like finding a midpoint where it doesn't look like they blend, but it feels like they swirl.
Okay.
Where they are interconnected and there can be cohesiveness, but they're not fully integrated.
Okay.
See, I'm just asking, how can we make this swirl happen? How can we encourage it and incorporate it more fully into your life to make it easier going back and forth? And I got, the first thing that popped up is just a hand with like a palm up. Okay, so the way that it's feeling to me is that like you're not making it happen. You kind of stand back and you receive from both sides. And when you just sit back and let it happen, it will naturally blend together. When you step forward and try to make it happen, that's when the separate part comes into play. Like that's the hard part, is stepping back and not interfering.
Okay.
That's to me, it's like I feel this big struggle in my chest where it's like losing, like not having the control, or not being able to help it in any way, or like help move along, not being able to really try. Yeah, there's nothing you can do to make it happen. You just have to let it happen. And that, to me, that's the part that feels like it's the challenge. Me just ask, what things can you do to help let it happen and kind of relax into it? Like the images I'm getting, I know you're already doing, like meditating and just being with animals. Being in nature. That's okay. So I do get the sense of retreating is important at the moment, like having set times where you are separate from other people. And like blocking out time and have it. And if you make it more of a schedule, then you're not going to let time go by too fast or be exposed too much. Like as an example, like make sure you have 1 day a week or 2 days a week where you're just by yourself, where you can recharge and recuperate. And having those times set in place will give you more of a clean slate, so that when you are, and then, because then once you are the clean slate, then you're going to be at a better place to just let it happen and sit back, and then it will swirl.
Yeah.
But you need to take more time to just.
Okay. So that's what I've been feeling lately, is to have one day a week where I'm just devoted to my spirituality, totally, unplugged.
Yeah. Just you.
Yeah.
Just, yes, totally. 100%. Fully encourage that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah. And it feels like you do all the things that you're supposed to do, like all the journaling and all that kind of stuff. So it's just leaning into it and turning everything off.
Okay. Yeah.
And it feels like during these recharge times, it's focused on you. You're not doing spiritual stuff or anything for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for you.
Yeah.
So you can't like start thinking of other people and start working on them or planning things. It's just like, even you could even just like read a book that like unplugs you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just asking if there's any healing that needs to get done in that life, and then I can do some energy work to try to like bring them together to make it a little easier when it swirls, but that's all that it really needs. It doesn't need a whole lot.
Okay.
Okay, so in that life, it's more of like you have the spiritual man, and then you have the ordinary people, and it's bringing them together and swirling it together to like make the harmonious part. And it feels like the temple is the place where it happens. That's the place where it swirls together and the two sides join in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it around the whole temple. And I don't feel the need to cut a cord from that life. It's not damaging, it's just a reminder. Okay. Okay, was there something? Oh, I feel the need to take a drink of water. Is there, I'm going to work on your throat for a second.
Okay.
Oh boy, there's something in your throat. Okay. Yeah, my hands are shaking over top.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so when I asked, what is the energy on your throat? And I saw like, what reminds me of like those old prison metal shackles around your throat.
Okay.
Then I saw an image of you. You were a woman in this life. This is a past life. And I see a bunch of women lined up with these shackles chained together, walking in a row. Everyone was wearing what looked to me like nightgowns, like really like simple one layer dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this has to do with like witch trial type situation. All these women were thought to be witches because they were speaking out or doing spiritual things. There was a combination of everybody, like, but everybody was chained up and forced to be quiet, forced to be not who they are.
Yeah.
They were all paraded around, made an example of, to stop the other women in the village from speaking up. And it was more of what hurt you the most in this life was not that you were silenced, is that your example made other people be quiet.
Yeah.
Other people be silenced. And that's the part that really stuck with you, is that you wanted other people to be able to talk.
Yeah.
You thought more of other people than yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, you have accurately identified something for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to I'm going to do healing on this before I go
Okay.
further into it, because I need to. Yeah, I'm hearing it's like, it's not about protecting forgot the exact words. Shoot, it zoomed through. It had to do with, because I was just saying in my head, like, you're not responsible for other people. And then I heard, oh, shoot, I hate when it goes through and I miss it. It has to do with being the example, and I'll try to come back and get it later. Oh,
Okay.
rats. I hate when that happens. It just
No
comes
worries.
so quick and then it's like, okay. Oh, you can shine your light through the shackles. Your bright light is so bright, it can go through the shackles and it will affect other people. You're the example. And even when, so people are looking at you and you're shackled and they're thinking, oh, I shouldn't talk like that. But your light is so bright. It can shine so bright. You're touching all these people and you're actually inspiring them to talk, even though you're shackled.
Okay.
You can inspire while still being confined.
Okay.
You don't need to be
Interesting.
free in order to actually do positive change.
Interesting.
Your light is just.
I feel like that's very symbolic as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You don't need to be completely evolved or like completely open or completely your higher self with. Oh, my throat's doing that thing again. You don't need to be your highest version in order to affect change in other people. Okay, I got it. Okay, so I'm just putting light, I'm breaking the chains. And I feel the drawn to not only have you in this, but also the women in the audience. Like, I feel like joining them together because they're all one. They're all connected. They all have the same goal, is to be your true self. So I am going to cut the cord to this one though.
Okay.
And I'm getting, because as I was doing the healing, I heard it's not other people's opinions and other people's views that the audience is going to see or feel. It's who you are. So it doesn't matter what other people say or do to you or about you. The people that are going to be listening to it can see through it. They can see you. It's taking me to your heart. And it feels connected to that, but there's also something else. You see. Oh, and this one's connected to, so the one was connected to your throat, and I kind of worked that energy, and this other one is connected to your root.
Okay.
So it just kind of deviates out. It's like stability, safety, feeling loved. Yeah, and this one, yeah, I know we were talking before, and this one's definitely connected to your mother and your mother's line. And it feels like in the line of energy that goes through all the generations, it feels really thick. It's like iron, but barbed.
Okay. Interesting.
So like very harsh.
Yeah,
and like it feels like you can't escape it, or at least they could not escape it.
Okay.
Because like when I go to them, that's what I see. But when I get closer to you, it feels like your light is kind of like dissolving it a little bit and like narrowing it down and making it more malleable.
Okay. Interesting.
That's just kind of like from your mother to you, the line starts to like get softer, and it's all been affected by your energy. Because it's just so big.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just asking, how can we how can we cut this energy, heal this energy, like, and I just got the image of like everyone on the line, like a cage came down and like kind of trapped them in there.
Okay.
So I can send them like energy, but the cage isn't going to go away. The cage is like, they've chosen to be in the cage.
Yeah, that's always what it's felt like.
Mm-hmm. But you're not in the cage. You're just like connected to it. Okay, so they're telling me like I can thin the cord, make it smaller, but I can't make the cord go away.
Wow.
I can't
Okay.
Disconnect you from your ancestors, but like we can dwindle it down so that it affects you less. And they want me to coat it in like green light. And it's kind of like how your channel is like an insulator. We can use energy around it to kind of insulate it and protect you.
Okay. Yeah.
You can imagine that in your head. Like you can just ask, what color do I need today to protect this cord or protect myself from this cord? And you can envision the energy around it to kind of insulate you. But right now they wanted me to use green. Oh, and like sparkly white light around it as well, to finish it off. And that kind of blends with your energy. It's the same kind of lights as what I'm seeing for you. Okay, do you have any questions you want to add in?
Do you see any past lives with my mother, or my grandmother, or even within that lineage?
Okay. Okay, so I went to the podium and then there was like a pile of books fell out. Okay, so I'm just going to the one that's on the top. It looks like it's a purple book. Let's see what. And this is The Life with Your Mother. Okay, in this life, she was your father. Oh, and I can see him being like a trapper. Like he works in the forest and he hunts and kills animals and then uses that to support the family. And you're a daughter in this life. I can see you being about like maybe 13 or so. And I see you picking berries. And it feels like the rest of the family isn't there. They were lost, they were killed, but the other members, like your mother and siblings, are no longer with you guys. So you guys are alone. He's very harsh in this life, very just very rugged and very closed off.
Okay.
And when I look at you, you feel like a wildflower.
Mm-hmm.
You're delicate, you're beautiful, you're loving, you kind of flow with the wind. So it's a real clash. And it's really hard for you to not wilt in his presence. Because it's just so strong and overbearing and like, but then like I'm also hearing that's like this delicate flower is like so strong. And like I'm just kind of seeing like a flower like breaking through a rock to grow. Okay, so I just asked like what the connection was that life in this life, and it's just like the harshness and the different personalities and the different ways of being clash. It's hard to see eye to eye. Let me see I was asking how can we heal this relationship or help this relationship be more smooth. And they're showing me water rushing over the rock, rushing over the hard surface. And it feels like it's like softening the edges from being sharp to being round and smooth. I was asking, what is this water? And then I heard time and grace. And then I heard like, can we make the water rush faster? And it's like the water does not flow upstream, it only flows down.
Okay.
You can't force it to go up. You have to wait until it's in the right location for it to go down.
Okay.
So that's letting go of being able to fix things. That's the hardest part.
Okay.
And then like I asked, how can you kind of be able to not try to fix or not be able like that? My throat is going up again. So there's something in the throat here too. Sorry. So like how can you, because I feel the need to try to like get the water to smoothen the rocks and like fix it and polish it. And like you can't, if you keep trying, the water's just going to rush back onto you and just push you back down the hill. It's counterproductive. It's going to hurt you more.
Yeah.
So how can you kind of let it go and just let it be? And I saw like another path where it's like you make your own path, you make your own life, you make your own family.
Oh, okay.
Change the focus to building your own instead of fixing what you have had.
Okay.
Because you can't fix it. It can only be fixed when it's the right time.
Okay.
And that's a waste of your energy. And it hurts your soul. It hurts you. It's emotionally draining. And then so that's also and it doesn't necessarily I'm seeing like, you know, like an actual family, but it's also like your soul family. It's also your friends and building that group of support around you.
Yeah.
That's what the kind of whole focus is, building what you need. And you're so intuitive, and you know this, you're so connected that you can just tell when there's someone that you're like, yeah, you're my person. So just foster those relationships and just and just kind of take the time to grow them, because those are the people that are going to support you. You can tell when there's someone that's like, that's your soul family. Just trust it and lean into it.
All right.
Because it feels like the more you do that, the more of the cushion you have when you can lean back, and it's going to be so much easier to let the world go by and not try to fix things and not try to control things, because you have all the support that you can lean back into. So that's what I'm kind of seeing, this like big cushion of people just like supporting you, all these souls. Okay. Let me see. And it feels like the lives that you've had with your mother are all very similar. Are all have the same kind of dynamic. And in those lives, like you weren't able to like break free. So that's the goal for this life, is to break free from the chains of being like, dragged down. And you can break free by just being and not forcing it to happen. Okay, is there anything you want me to ask specifically?
Can we? Okay, yeah, that was really great. Thank you. Can we go again to how I can serve best in this life as well?
Yes. Okay, well, the first thing that popped in my head was just you like standing up and being like, here I am, and like all sparkly. I'm just like, oh, okay, yes. So to me, that's like showing up as yourself and just like
being seen,
being fully you.
Yeah.
It's like your sparkly like self. Let me see. I'll ask for more specifics. That just like popped in. Yeah, it feels like it's connecting me to the things that I've said in the past, like taking the time, like one day a week to just be just you. And it feels like in those times, you're going to be receiving a lot of guidance. And when you receive it, if you are second guessing where it's coming from, just ask, is this for my future or is this from my past?
Okay.
And I have a strong feeling that it's going to be things for your future. They're guiding you to where you want to be or should be, or the places that will feed your soul.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got the image of you like running in water. Like the water's just like knee deep and you're like running.
Okay.
Let me see what's. Okay, so it's like when you go walk through the water, it's harder to walk, and then I heard like knees up. So like you lift your knees up so that you can run, and like it kind of feels like form is going to be important. It's not just going through the water, but how you do it will increase your speed.
Okay.
Increase your efficiency, I should say. And then I heard like, again, that one day, like more time for yourself, that's going to help your form.
Okay.
Yeah, and just continue working from your heart. Follow your heart, and it will always lead you to the right spot. Above all else, like no matter where you're feeling it, your heart should be the one you listen to first.
Okay.
It has the most true voice to your soul. I was asking if there's anything else that they want to share with you. Okay, so I got the picture of a flower, and like it's a bud, and then it's opening up, and then where typically like the leaves would start to fall, it like comes back up into a flower.
Okay.
So it's just kind of showing me your flower might wilt, but it never dies. It will always come back to a flower.
Okay.
So you never have to worry about the leaves or the flower dying. It's even if, no matter how wilted you might feel, you can always come back. Yeah, that's the image, and that feels to me like it's your spiritual life and you in general. Like no matter how defeated you feel or hopeless, there's always a way to grow back up. Do you want me to see if there's a life that needs to be healed or a body scan to see what needs to be healed?
Yeah.
Okay, so like a brown book. There's a really old, like, leathery, really mashed up and clawed up book that came out. Okay, so I see you in a cave.
Okay.
I see you being like a really, really old woman. You have like gray hair. You feel kind of wild to me, because like I feel like kind of like a snarly kind of like almost half animal, half person type thing.
Okay.
Like very, very, very long time ago. Caveman type thing. Like you were very kind of animalistic, but it feels like reminds me of like a cat that's like stuck in a corner and you attack them and they hiss. They're like being protective. That's what kind of felt like to me. And you're being like backed into this cave. And people are trying to hurt you. Like I can see like a group of people trying to get you and pull you out of the cave, and they're trying to hurt you. Let me see why. So it feels like you're different from them. you're not from their area and you're from somewhere else. And on your travels, you came there and then you got older and sicker and you couldn't leave. And they didn't like that you were there. You were different from them.
Okay.
And then the way that is connected to this life is the fear of being different, the fear of being ostracized or being punished or hurt for being different, for being special. Okay. And that's tied to your root and your sacral. And I'm putting energy around that life when she was scared, so she doesn't feel alone and scared.
Okay.
And I kind of felt the need to take that bubble of light and lift her off and take her home. And then I'm just saying, as I'm doing your root and your sacral, like it's safe to be you.
Yeah.
And then a bird flew out of your root, and it's like, it's safe to be free. Okay, and then at your solar plexus, like, I feel like the energy is pulsating. It feels like you don't fully believe that you're capable of so much.
Okay.
Or like or just trying to find the right words. You haven't fully accepted of who you are.
Okay.
And like you're on the path, you're almost there, but like, or like there's moments where you're like, yes, and then like you might dive down into maybe some doubt, but like I can just feel this waning, this going back.
So what it is like, it's accurate, but what it is like when I always feel called to do so much more than I'm doing, and it always makes me feel tired. It always makes me feel like, really, I have to go farther, I have to do more. And it can be like, sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, that's what I think, that's what that energy is.
Right. Okay, so I just asked, like, how can we make this easier for you? And then I just heard like steps. Like it feels like when you receive things, you receive the information from far down the line.
I do. Yeah.
So that's overwhelming.
It is.
Set the intention that you want to receive the next step only.
Yeah.
Either like 1 or 2 steps. And then
Okay.
you don't want to receive anything else, so that you can take that step without fear.
Right.
Because when you have like 10 years down the line, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. And it's just like, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
But if it's just 1 step, you can make that jump. You can make that leap because it doesn't feel as big. Yeah. But setting the intention and then almost having like the intention and then like a block where it's like, you can give me this many years or this many times, this many steps, but then no more.
Yeah. Okay.
And kind of like, it's just your boundary with spirit.
Right.
Because that connection is so strong. Most people like reach and yearn where it just comes in for you.
Yeah.
So having that boundary, just like you would a person, will help just manage your energy.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
So yeah, the steps is going to be important for you. Let me see. Yeah, and then your energy on your solar plexus just kind of dimmed out a little bit. It was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I can settle. It's not as wavy, turbulent. Yeah, there you go. And then I'm going to your sacral. It's just weird. On the sacral, I'm feeling a lot of energy off to your right side, like it's going past your body. I'm just trying to figure out what that is. It's a connection to somebody else. So it's a cord. Let's see. Okay, so it's a cord that goes out and splits out. It goes to your husband and your mother. And it's kind of like they're opposing forces. It feels like the energy from each is doing totally different things, and it's kind of neutralizing. And it's hard to have anything but this like stuck energy there. Let's work here.
Interesting. Okay.
It's gonna the cords. Let's see. I'm just like pulling out. I cut the cords and I'm just like pulling out that energy. It's giving me lots of heat.
Yeah.
They're wanting me to use a lot of green today. So they want me to use green light in your sacral. Okay, so the energy from those two lights is like, it feels like the cord from your husband is more like battling on your behalf.
Yeah.
It's like very strong protective energy. And when your mother is just, it's more of a fearful energy.
Totally. Yep.
And like, so I'm just cutting hers. So it would be very beneficial to like have, when you set up protection, to specifically protect yourself from her energy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because there's really no way to stop it from coming. You can only just like shield yourself from it.
Okay.
And when you do it, sorry, go ahead.
And this was in my sacral?
This was in your sacral. Yeah.
Okay.
And when you do this shielding, envision your husband in the bubble with you.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'll protect him because he's connected to you. If she goes through him, it could go through you.
Okay.
Especially since he's so intertwined. Okay. And then I'm also cutting the cord from your husband because I feel in the sacral where it's like you can do your own battle.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not like necessarily a bad cord. It's just the energy of feeling the need to protect you is kind of offsetting your own power.
Okay. Okay.
But since we're taking away your mother's energy, his energy is not really needed there at the moment. So
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. It's a lot. It's flowing a lot faster now. I'm just like making it, I can really get it to go down your legs. And then I feel the need to put like golden light. It's a really protective light.
Okay.
And like really shield it. Okay, and they're wanting me to like expand it out to like all of you. So you're completely surrounded in this gold light. Awesome. That feels way better. Way better.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome. It's flowing way faster. I'm just double checking, making sure they're all kind of even. Yeah. Way better. Way better. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so how do you feel?
I feel really good. Thank you so much. That was really interesting. I feel like some of the things were unexpected, but when I thought about it, I realized how true they were and how, yeah, like I think sometimes we're really blind to almost the obvious in some ways, right? Yeah. So it was really great. Thank you for highlighting all of those things that came up. And, you know, you totally identified like the spots. You got everything right when it comes to like my chakras. Like you got everything right completely. So yeah, it was really accurate. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.